Hello guys, we are back with another book review. Today we're doing a double book review because I read both of these. I kept forgetting to do a book review on this one. And I started reading this one and I finished it. So first we're going to do Stay Out of the Basement. So this story does follow a brother and sister named, it's not Josh and Amanda. It is... Wait, I forgot their names. It's Margaret and Casey. So, pretty much, their dad got fired from their job. And he's been working in the basement. He is a botanist, which means he does all these plants and stuff. Anyways, so he's been down there, and he hasn't been coming up. He hasn't been talking to the kids as much. And their mom needs to go help her sister, who is in the hospital. And then they realized their dad is doing really weird things. He started wearing a baseball hat. Correct me if I'm wrong, if his Dodgers is baseball. I don't really watch sports. So he starts wearing a Dodgers cap. And then they knock it off with a frisbee, realizes it has leaves growing. He explains a little bit. He just says it's a side effect though. And then she sees him eating plant food and his hand is in green blood and not red blood. He tells them to stay out of the basement. They keep going, and then he installs a lock. Then they go down there. The dad's old boss, Piers. And she also finds soil in his bed with moving bugs in it. Nasty. But then they find the boss's clothes in the basement. He wouldn't have left it. He would left his jacket and tie, maybe, but not his pants and his shoes, is what they quote unquote said in this book, quite literally. But it's a pretty good book. But then they hear banging in the closet, and like they open it and they see all these plants with faces and like feet and hands on them. And then they look down on the ground and they see their dad, and they're like, "Wait, what?" And then the dad was on his way to pick up their mom, and so he comes down while he comes down after he picked up the mom. The mom sees the dad who they found in the closet, and Mr. Martinez was in there too. They had no time and stuff. And then he pulled up an axe, and then she took the axe from him, and then she like cut them a little bit, like drew blood, and then one had red and one had green. So she gave the axe to the one with the red blood, and the one with the axe cut the other one. He was a stem, no human organs, no nothing. His dad said that, or their dad said that, he had cut himself on the glass cases, trying to electronically mutate plants, and he mixed some of his DNA with plant DNA, and it made an exact clone of him. But before that, he had made these other ones, and he locked them in the closet, and then he destroyed all the plants, and he got his job back. That is how that book ends. But overall, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. It was a really good book. Not as good as Dead House. That 9.5, I believe, is what I gave it. Well, that's what I'm changing it to, because it was amazing. But it was a little boring at first. That's why I'm giving it, I'm going to bring it down to 7.5. It was boring at the start, and then it started getting good at the very end. Out the middle's alright. Yeah, so that's that book. The scenery was a little weird, but yeah, now on to Monster Blood. A lot of people hate this book. I actually found it kind of cool. It's not bad at all. I think it was maybe 7 out of 10. A lot of people say it doesn't really make sense. This is just about a boy who goes to visit his deaf aunt, Catherine. And I say deaf. I mean deaf. If I said deaf, I don't remember what I said. But his deaf aunt, Catherine. Deaf aunt Catherine. Sorry about that. But she's kind of weird, but she can speak clearly, even though she's deaf, which I found a little bit weird. But he meets this girl named Andrea. She hates her name, so she wants to go out Andy. And so then they meet the Bamer twins, and he wants to feed them after they go to a toy store in town and buy this thing called Monster Blood. But the aunt looks at it, and then mouths words while looking at the label. He assumed it was just her, like, saying the name in her head. Then as it goes on, it starts to grow. They put it in a coffee can, continues to grow, puts it in a bucket, continues to grow, puts it in a bathtub, gets sucked into the bathtub. It starts sucking and it gets warm after being cold, and it's kind of weird. And then they, but somewhere in between that, his dog eats some of it. He starts growing. He's a, what is it, Cocker Spaniel? Hold on. Yeah, I think it's Cocker Spaniel. Because it says in, like, the last 2 pages. Yeah. He's a Cocker Spaniel. Anyways. So then, the Bamer twins are like these big bullies. They actually beat up Evan. Well, okay, wait. I gotta rewind. Okay. So after they get the monster blood, the aunt mouths the words of the thing. Then they see it grows. Then they're tossing around. The dog eats half of it. Okay. Then they see the container's full. And then it starts to keep growing. And they have to put it in a coffee can. And then they have to keep switching things. But then he, actually, once they transfer it to a coffee can, he's sleeping, right? And then, I guess it describes how the dog had been huge. And then the Bamer twins popped up, and then the dog started chasing them. His paws thudding on the ground at night. And then, he woke up from the dream. And then realized that he was uncomfortable. And then he realized he was giant. And then he woke up from the dream. And it was like a dream within a dream. And it was weird. Didn't really make sense. But then he noticed something right before he went back to bed. The monster blood was oozing out. So he had to take it to Andy after... Take it to Andy. Andy takes some of it. And then on his way out, the Bamer twins come up and just... Boom. Boom. He has a stomachache. He got punched in the face. He's dazed. The monster blood falls onto the grass. And her dad's like a big lawn person. So she wants to make sure it doesn't kill the grass. Oh my god. Sorry about that. But then she helps him up. And then the monster blood keeps growing. So now we're back at where I was. So pretty much then he, like... It's over. He wants to go. He needs to move it. He sneaks out. And then he goes in the garage, gets the bucket that monster blood's in, and it's overflowing. So he takes it to the basement, and the cat stares at him. Oh, yeah, there's a cat named Sarah Beth that the aunt just describes as evil. It's just a cat. But then Sarah Beth sees him and, like, growls at him. And then it scares him, and he falls into the tub that he transferred it into, and it, like, it's pulling him down like quicksand, like, but stronger. He somehow gets out, and then Sarah Beth jumps on his back. And then in the morning, he's like, I need to tell Aunt Catherine about this. So she tells him, he tells her about, the monster blood, and, she laughs. Then they have to transfer it into a big trash can. Actually, they tried to take it back to the toy store. The toy store closed down for some odd reason. And then, oh my gosh, I almost ended the video. So then, they take it back and they put it in a trash can. Then, the trigger gets out, and he's like the size of a pony at this point. And he starts running, and then he tries to run, and then he trips over the trash can, and the monster blood starts going out, chasing them. Bamer twins pop up, completely absorbs them into this big circle. And then it sees Aunt Catherine, she screams, and it goes into the house because she left the door open. Of course. And then she's like saying that she made it, so she must die for it. And Evan finds those words, like, he's trying to help her, but she's like, up against the wall and she cannot move. So then he's like, oh my gosh. And he's like, you did this. No, wait, okay. He's like, oh, she was casting a spell because he finds all these books in his room. And she was like, you did this. And she's like, no. Keep in mind, she's deaf. She can't hear. Heck, he's saying. But she didn't learn sign or lip reading, but she somehow lip read, you did it. Kind of weird. But then she points, and it looks like she's pointing at Andy, and like Andy's just like, what? And then Andy looks back and she sees Sarah Beth the cat sitting there. And then she I'm getting goosebumps right now. Then Sarah Beth turns into a human. Kind of weird. And then she's like, Sarah Beth just curses over on me, blah blah blah. And then she explains that Sarah Beth cast a spell on her, and she's been making him do her slave work, I guess. This is 90s. Don't find, like, I don't know. But she's like, once she was like her slave, and then she turns into a human, yeah. And then she wasn't allowed visitors, so she said the kids have to die, which is sad. And then she controlled the monster blood because that's the spell, and that's what she was mouthing. And then the monster blood ate her, and then Trigger shrank, the monster blood shrank. It was a huge monster blood. And then she was gone, and Catherine can hear now. She got super happy. And then Evan's mom popped up, and because she had to left him here because she was going to move to Atlanta, and they were looking for houses. So then Andy was like, I guess I'll call you and stuff, and I'll write you. But she asked if she could keep the monster blood. They looked back at the small puddle of monster blood. It was gone. So, and that's how that ends. But my theory is that Catherine turned into the monster blood. Not Catherine. Sarah Beth turned into the monster blood. So yeah. This is I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It was kind of equal with Stay at the Basement. A lot of people hate this book. I didn't love it. It was alright. It was like a 7. This one, I'm going to give an 8. So it was like 7, 8. Overall, 2 good books. This is a very long video. I'm super sorry for boring y'all about Monster Blood. But do recommend reading these ones. Next is going to be Say Cheese and Die. I'm not really excited about that one. I don't know why, but I don't know. And it depends if I get Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, or we're going to have to stop this review because I don't have that book. And then we're going to have to move on to Horrorland. And then when I get the book, we'll start that one. And then we'll keep going until I don't have another book. And then we'll go to the Horrorlands again. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. So the rankings right now are 9.5 for Dead House, 8 Stay Out of the Basement, and 7 for Monster Blood. So yeah. See you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Goodbye.